Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In southern Alberta, the snowy peaks and glaciers of the eastern slopes and Rocky Mountains slowly release water over the spring and summer, feeding millions of people and animals across Alberta. The critical provision of clean and abundant water here was first formally recognized in the Eastern Slopes Policy in 1977. Watershed management remains the highest priority as defined in this government policy, with recreation and tourism benefits also being extremely important. As glaciers and the winter snowpack shrink, climate change impacts are evident every day along the eastern slopes. Raging rivers are reduced to a trickle and reservoirs are desperately low by September. Many agriculturalists struggle to water their livestock and crops. There are no other sources of water for southern Alberta. How we manage the eastern slopes matters. Our government seems to have forgotten that. Rather than conserving water, they are allowing applications for coal mining exploration. This will not only pollute this precious water, but use much of it, making less available for cows, fish, and people. Rather than protecting the intact forests and the headwaters, the government supports logging these sensitive ecosystems. Logging practices on the eastern slopes could be designed to protect our communities from wildfire, drought, and flood, but it isn't planned that way. Rather than implementing sustainable multi-use recreation plans for Albertans, the government fails to adequately manage motorized recreation that continues to wreak havoc on wetlands and wildlife habitat. Collaborative planning with diverse user groups could address these impacts, but the government refuses to implement the recommendations stemming from those groups. We could pass the Eastern Slopes Protection Act. We could work with communities, First Nations, and forestry companies to enable sustainable forestry management practices, and we could create better trail management plans. Because at the end of the day, Mr. Speaker, climate change doesn't care if we're ready. It's already here. And if we don't act now, we will foreclose on the options to ensure the water on the eastern slopes continues to flow.